the footpad said. "Come on, I can see the hilt sticking out behind your back." The dagger joined its mate on the grass. "Get on with it!" Mal hefted his purse for a moment, then tossed to the footpad in a high arc. The fool went to catch it with his free hand and looked straight up into the sun. Sandy stepped aside and Mal ducked forward, snatching up the rapier and lunging in a single fluid movement that ended with the point of his blade pressing into the tender flesh under the man's chin. "Once you pull the trigger," Mal said, "it'll take at least 2 heartbeats for the powder to ignite and the gun to fire. How many do you think it'll take for me to open your veins?" The footpad's throat worked as he weighed the relative consequences of speaking and staying silent. After a moment he lowered the pistol. "Drop it on the ground," Mal told him. "Carefully." He did so, never taking his eyes off Mal. Sandy stepped behind him and took the man's head in both hands. The footpad whimpered and squirmed in Sandy's grasp, and his eyes rolled back in his skull. "What are you doing?" Mal strode over and laid a hand on his brother's arm. "I told you!" Sandy released the footpad, who fell to the ground in an untidy heap. "Not to use magic openly." "There is no one here to see us." "There's him, assuming you haven't killed him." Mal sheathed his sword and crouched beside the man, taking hold of his jaw and turning his head from side to side. Drool trickled out between the slack lips, but the footpad appeared to still be breathing. "You know I can't do that," Sandy replied. "Do I? I'm not certain what you're capable of anymore." Mal retrieved his fallen purse and straightened up. "You're afraid, aren't you? Afraid of becoming like me?" Mal looked away, unable to meet his brother's eye. It was hard to keep secrets from someone when you shared a soul. "You didn't need to do it. I had him disarmed and a sword's point." "He could have been an assassin." "Him?" Mal shook his head over the sorry figure on the ground. "He's naught but a common thief. Plenty of them on the roads into London. The only wonder is we haven't been troubled by any before now." "Still, I had to be sure." "And was he?" Sandy pulled a face. "No." "Don't fret yourself. We were in London for weeks after we first got back from France. If someone was set on killing me, they'd have tried it before now." He stepped over the man, picked up his dagger, and returned it to its sheath. "No. Whoever sent that assassin after me on Raleigh's ship seems to have backed off. Probably doesn't want to upset the prince. The boy is barely 4 years old. I cannot think he leads our enemies yet." "Not Henry. His father Robert." Mal looked around for the horses. "It's a good hour's ride to Southwark. If we want to talk to the Skraelings before Yusef's ship docks, we'd best hurry." The suburb of Southwark had grown outwards in all directions except one. On its eastern edge the boundary was still the stream just past Morgan's Lane, crossed by a wooden bridge. The common land beyond lay as empty as ever, apart from a few grazing cattle, and of course the Skraeling encampment. Evidently no one was so desperate for land that they wanted to build within a stone's throw of the aliens. "Remember," Mal said as they drew near the gates, "we offer help first, ask favours after." He dismounted and stepped onto the near end of the bridge across the moat surrounding the camp. He recalled his very first visit here, trailing after Ambassador Catlyn in the pouring rain, shirt sticking to the bloody welts on his back. The fact that he had been the first human to set foot inside the compound had been lost on him at the time. He wondered if others had been admitted since then, though he knew of none for certain, apart from himself and Sandy. The Skraelings kept to themselves, even more so now they knew that traitors within their own people had infiltrated the English aristocracy in the past, and might try to do so again. "Sir Malaverne Catlyn and Alexander Catlyn, to see Outspeaker Ajahn," he said to the guard. The title still sounded foolish to his own ears, but there it was. The Queen had decided his actions in Venice had deserved a knighthood, and who was he to gainsay her? The Skraeling's tattooed face remained impassive, but he bowed politely and waved them through. Mal breathed a sigh of relief. He had not been sure they would be welcome here, in the wake of Ambassador Catlyn's death, which was why he had not visited the Skraelings upon his return to England.